All right, I got a quick switch right here. Congressman, thanks for joining us tonight. That was super awesome.
All there was going, he was going, he wasn't going to budge, and he thinks that he felt like he was entitled to that because of his Fourth Amendment, his First Amendment. And I understand a person's I understand that wanting to, it doesn't, I've seen so many other I've watched so many of those things over the last couple of weeks. I'll admit I've seen some of those in the past. I've watched them when they pop up in my YouTube, pop up. And they're kind of interesting. And sometimes it's a really bad situation. This was not one of those situations where you have corruption and all this. It was a situation where somebody called over to the sheriff's office because this person was here. My understanding was also that, and he says it on this thing, that he's been calling there looking for it. Well, my understanding is that they, the clerk wasn't even in the office that day, and she would be the one that really needed to help him. All they could do is get court documents. The ladies that were there, really all they can do is get you the documents, make copies of them, and give them to you. They really don't have any. They really don't have any. They can't give advice.
We need to go down there and get a picture on that window where it says, like, they have a little sign there. It says, we cannot provide any legal advice.
Yeah. And so, I mean, to go over the document to understand what the document says it doesn't help. I mean, there's nothing they could help him with. And so, but that's not where it got to. The thing is, it escalated before it even really got to that. But the officer did ask, hey, anyway, we went over that last week. I'm going to
talk about it again.
Well, I mean, but I'm just trying not to be too repetitive, but it's I'm pretty passionate about that.
I am too, because it goes back to the same conversation we were having when we try to pass our own laws in this state, and we're influenced by outsiders who come in here to stir the pot in our own state. And if you're watching our show, you need to stand up. You need to go vote this weekend because your voice needs to be heard, and push those people out. They don't get to vote in our state, but they bring all their money in here.
I mean,
they support all these initiatives.
The people that, it was brought to the messengers, mine from California. Somebody from California was watching this feed.
Yeah.
They're all attached to a network of people who are doing this. And again, sometimes, there's legitimate things that go on, but it's not every time. It's like every time they come in contact with law enforcement or come in contact with a person, in a government job,
right?
They feel like, well, I have every right because you're getting paid taxpayer money, but that's just not legitimate. I saw another episode of it was attached to theirs in some way, shape, or form. I guess I don't know if they share each other's.
Right.
Whatever. But it was somebody out in Colorado, and they went and stood inside it was not this couple. I want to make sure everybody knows it was not this couple. This but somebody that's kind of associated with them in some way, shape, or form. And they went to this. They went to it was the Colorado Public Defender's Office.
Right.
Right. They lease space from a private building, private owner. And so they wanted to go in there and just sit there and film. Yeah. And they said, they consider that their business. They said, I'm here doing business, and their business is just to sit here and film you while you work, because they get money from YouTube when they go viral. Yeah. So they're there to antagonize people. So that and the lady who was there said she politely asked over and over again, I don't want to be filmed. Right, I don't want to be filmed without me, signing a release, and I don't want to sign a release. And he was like, "Well, you have to let me film you because you're a public employee." And I'm like, "Man, there's got to be something." And this is kind of the same attitude.
The county could write an ordinance that says no public filming.
Yeah, it would be, there are, I would say, the thing is that.
That's a good question for.
Here's my thing. These people here were in this place in Colorado a long time. I agree with you. There's got to be something to do. So they said that they wanted to. This couple, again, not the same couple that was in Meade County, and I'll get back to them in a minute.
Right.
But this is kind of like puts a highlight on what's going on. And so these two guys are just sitting there filming. Well, the people that wanted to film. Right. Or the people that didn't want to be filmed. Right. Well, they talked to them and told them, I don't want to be filmed, but you're still pointing the camera at me. Please don't. And they were very polite. Sure. And these people are commenting how rude these people are to me because they told them no. They were told no. Yeah. I don't want you to do this. And that's rude to them. And it's like these people were very, very polite.
Not from Meade County, for sure.
This is And so, and this was, like I said, this was out in Colorado and whatever. But it's like, the lady got up and left, right? She said, okay, I don't want to be filmed, so I'm going to walk away. And so she walks away. And so after a couple of minutes, nobody's standing there. He goes, I need to be served. I need service. I need service. He starts yelling that. And it's like, so, eventually somebody comes out and says, I'm like, well, do you need to fill out an application for a public defender? And he said, no. And then he starts going down this. I want to know everybody's name and salaries in this office. That's what he asked for. And it's like, I don't know that you can actually give that. I know that you can give salaries because it's a public office.
The number of employees that work and the salary.
But I don't think you're allowed to tie them together unless it's a certain level of directorship or something like that, right? But anyway, it's because they have rights as well. That's right. And he thinks that because you're a government employee that you have no rights. And it's like, well, you know what? If they refused it, he would have to sue to get it. And I don't think he would win. Yeah. Anyway, so when it comes down, there's a lot of things that's going on in this stuff. But so we're talking about the same attitude of people in this. And they're just trying to get, like you said earlier, they're trying to just antagonize public servants. Right. And the thing is that they expect if you are they want to treat you like you're supposed to be perfect, right? You go into when you go into county government, right? In a county like Meade County, there's not tons of budget money here. We don't have like just clerks sitting everywhere. They came in and blocked both of the windows until finally, and there was a gentleman standing outside waiting to get in, but she was sitting there just in front of the window. She didn't know it, but she wasn't paying attention to either. She wasn't there to do business. He was there. They only need one person to film, but they have 2 different YouTube channels is what the problem is. So she's doing a live and he's doing footage for his separately because he goes and edits it. And again, what's clicks? And then they were, begging for money the other night to get a lawyer. It was on one of their episodes. I told my wife, I said, I don't even really want to watch this, but
you know what
I feel like I need to be able to comment on it.
A bunch of our folks that are from the Meade County, and I want to exercise our Second Amendment right, and just be lined up outside the courthouse. I'm sorry, buddy, you're gonna have to wait in line, and we'll just stand out there and we'll form a line. And if you're not part of us, you better get back in line.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait your turn there, fella.
Yeah.
You're going to be here all day.
I mean, I need to check in the statutes and things, but like if you like do a FOIA request, right? My understanding is that in Kentucky, you don't even have to have, you have to be a resident to do a FOIA request for state and county records in Kentucky. You have to be a state resident. Right. So you wouldn't even be able to do a FOIA request. You'd have to have somebody from within the state to do this, right? So they're from Indiana, so they couldn't really come in and do a FOIA request.
Well, I don't know the particular on that, but
I'm going to look it up because I've been told that on a couple of different occasions, and I'm going to go look at that.
We should validate that.
Yeah, so we'll look it up. I've been digging into this for a couple of days, but let me tell you what's
really like a burr under the saddle.
Let me tell you what's really gotten me now is 2 episodes now, or 2 podcasts that he's put together, or whatever he calls it, YouTube videos. He has insinuated. I mean, he's everybody's against him. You hear him say it. Everybody and they're doctoring stuff. I need to film because they're going to doctor these records.
First of all, they didn't even know what documents they were looking for until you told them what to look for.
Yeah, and so then they went over and made the copies. They were making the copies for him, and the officer actually said, "Hey, if you get your copies, then go." And he's like, "I'm not going." And as soon as he said that, now that escalated, right? The officer could have de-escalated that with a better, with some better words.
Could you please explain to me what your purpose would be once you get your documents?
What needs to the question I would have asked if I was in that officer situation, I would have said, what is your goal? What is your goal here? You need your records, okay? What is what's the second goal, right? Let's talk about step by step what you need. If your first goal is to get the records, okay, they're getting your records right now. What after that?
I'm sorry, sir, they can't provide you.
They cannot provide you information about it because they're not allowed to comment on it.
The county attorney's office is right around the corner if you want any
clarity. Not even the county attorney. You have to go get your own attorney.
No, I understand that. But if you have a question about the law related to an office of the county attorney is around the corner and she can explain to you. If you go get you will need to get an attorney to explain this. And as the county attorney, because I'm the defense, I cannot explain your court records to you because I'm the prosecution.
Yeah. So I mean, everybody's had to recuse in their case because they were arrested for disorderly conduct, and I think at that point it was right. It was a righteous arrest.
Absolutely.
They were, what I saw made sense that they were not willing to leave, and just by not leaving. When you're
disorderly conduct.
It's disorderly conduct.
They were being disorderly.
And they were there to disrupt.
Yeah.
But let's going a step further. So now they had to come back. So they start digging in. They claim that that their property was stolen.
Right.
It was seized as part of their arrest. So it's not stolen property. He believes that you have to have a search warrant in order to have it. Not when it's seized as part of an arrest.
Right.
There's case law that supports it. There's also case law that does say, hey, there's certain limitations to time and things like that. However, this is where the messenger, I think, gets it wrong. The messenger's like, well, they said that the charges have nothing to do with the video, so why do they need their equipment? Why do they need to keep their equipment? And here's the thing. You have to think more critically than that. And I would hope that the messenger would think more critically before they put this opinion in.
Yeah.
Because they didn't think, you can't think of a reason that you would need the video to look at, other than it was other than they thought that they were being arrested because they were videoing. No, they were arrested because they didn't want to leave, even though when they were trying to give it an avenue for them to go ahead and go. Let's get your stuff and you can go. No, he didn't want to, and so he helped create the scene.
Right.
Those are two bulls that came together in that office, right?
Yeah.
And
pretty
the
much.
one bull arrested the other bull.
Yeah.
And then she got caught up in it because she was wanting to, yell and scream about not touching him and don't touch me. Well, now you've created a scene too. So now you go to jail.
That's right.
Okay. So those are two righteous arrests. Now, whether they get convicted of it, I don't know. But at the moment, it's at least enough to arrest them. But wouldn't the video be evidence of the incident? And then they said, well, why do they need? The messenger also asked, well, why do they need to have like all of their footage and stuff, like even before, and have access to their their other footage and things like that? And I'll tell you why. Because if there's intent to go in there and create a scene, and they talked about it beforehand, right? And it's on their video somewhere, even if they erased it or they tried.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you want to know that? Because now the intent is proven. So they went and got a search warrant. There's a search warrant for an additional items. So in his video, he also said that. So that's at least one reason. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's at least one reason. So I can at least think about that critically before I put it into a newspaper and just side with the people that came in and did this.
I think that op-ed that they did was just a insight.
Oh, she followed up with it again.
Yeah,
this week.
I got to go take a look at it today. But anyway.
So I'm not faulting her. It's her opinion. She can have it. She can write it about it. It's her.
Was that
her paper.
Jules or who wrote that?
Jules.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and I like Jules. She's
she's
fine.
good.
I just don't. I just totally disagree with her in this case, in this instance, and it's just it feels like a very one-sided.
She definitely started a conversation though, didn't she?
She did. She did. And
go.
if that's what she intended to do, then great job. But I think that when you're doing that, you need to follow up with a little bit of a.
Could you tell us the rest of the facts since it's this paper?
Yeah, because all they did.
I still have a problem with the paper because every time I try to read the paper and I see a picture, I want to do this like I'm touching my iPad, and you can't do that. But digital paper is coming out, so Anyway, I'm just teasing. Go ahead.
So the thing that's really got me upset.
Okay.
With this whole situation, because I can stay very neutral.
No, you're good. Keep going.
And say, I think there was wrong on both sides of this.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that's really gotten me is that gentleman, Chris Reiter, Reiter, R-E-I-T-E-R, I think it's he insinuates because he's been pulling records and stuff for on the jailer and on the sheriff.
Go figure.
And on the county attorney. I guess the court clerk as well. I don't know.
Wow.
So so he's pulling all this information. Well, he comes on here and says, I got some big news. And this is not exactly the words he used, but so you can go on his, if you want to go watch it, go watch it. And he goes, but the sheriff is like, he has he was involved in a double homicide 10 years ago, and he shouldn't even be sheriff. Now, what does that insinuate to you? That he committed a double homicide? Do you know what the man's talking about?
Not even.
The man's talking about the day that his son got killed.
I know it.
By his son, and his ex-wife got killed by her boyfriend.
Yep.
And
he does
I knew them. My son knew Tucker. He was in that Saturday before.
We have a community event annually as a result of that. And his
this
hard
man,
work.
and now, so I thought, okay, he doesn't know the whole situation. He read a couple of lines on this.
Right.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. No, he doubles down on it on another episode. Talking about how the more he digs in, he actually said this. He said, the more I dig into this, the more I believe he was involved. That he was.
Oh my Lord,
yes,
no.
he said that. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
You have no idea. What a miserable man.
I mean, that's awful. I mean, it is just awful. And this man, all he wants is people to click on his YouTube page, and it's just it absolutely is criminal. If it's not really criminal, it should be, and the laws need to be passed to protect people.
Absolutely.
Because this is just insane. He thinks that because you're an elected official that you can just say whatever and what have you, and maybe there's not going to be anything come of it because he's an elected official. But let me tell you something right now: you're an evil man who comes up and says that. That's just evil. And if you can quote me on that, I don't care.
Yep.
That is just an evil thing to do, and you did it, and you did it twice.
Evident.
So you can't even take it back. And his girlfriend, or I don't know if it's his girlfriend or wife or whatever, the other lady that's in this, you can tell that she almost doesn't want to even involve herself in saying that because her eyes kind of shift. But that's my interpretation of what I'm saying.
You're taking a little too far there, honey. Would you
or
stop?
something? But she doesn't. She won't say. She's not going to say anything because he's going to get clicks. And of course, he's in the middle of saying all this stuff, and of course, he's begging for money from people. He goes, "Well, I don't want to beg," but he's out there begging, asking people to pay for his court. And and he's got people from all over the place. Putting in nickels and dimes, and then of course there's like a guy gives him $500, and another guy gives him $1,000. And these are all people out in like.
So this guy made in an overnight stay at the jail. He's already made like a couple $1,000s more than a lot of people make right now in the county. That's crazy.
He's just anyway. It's just
criminal.
It's just, to me, it's just absolute criminal. And I know that the people are down there are too good-hearted to try to come after him for stuff that for the stuff that he's really saying and doing, and because that's the thing is these people take advantage of good-hearted people who are just trying to do their jobs every day.
That's right.
And no, they're not perfect, and no, sir, you don't know the law at all. You're just quoting things. So they went after the another thing they talked about, and then she brought this up in her thing was about the. She had one of those posters that says, this is the United States flag. And then they quote, I think it's Title 36, Title 36, Chapter 10. I think it's Title 36, Chapter 10 of Subchapter 3, I think it is.
Right.
Or Subchapter 4, maybe. And then it goes down to subsection 176, and then it's bullet G under that section, and it talks about defaming the defamation of the flag and things like that, and that you're not allowed to put any colors or whatever on it. And so on that pamphlet that she was showing, and the reason they were doing this is because they have one of those wooden wooden flags replicas up there with the blue line across it that somebody made. It's displayed. It's an art piece in reality. And her pamphlet was, it's illegal to do that. Well, it's not illegal because nobody's claiming that that's the flag of the United States.
Right.
Right. And there's you can go look up Supreme Court. They're not flying it as the flag.
Right.
As long as our flag, the United States flag, is not dipped to that flag, then you can fly whatever flag you want, as long as the U.S. flag is on top and above all others.
That's right.
And they don't fly that flag outside. They don't fly it instead of the United States flag. So this is not the United States flag. And her little thing says it's not, but they call it a gang symbol.
Oh my Lord!
That's what they call it. They call it a gang symbol.
I got a gang symbol for him. It's the shape of a cross.
So there's
a guy died on it for us. He's the most spoke about, written guy in the world, known all over the world. Even in the Quran, this guy is known. His name is Jesus.
Amen.
Come get you some. Journey Church every Sunday.
So I want you all. So anyway, all of this listening, I don't want to encourage you to go watch this, but man, because it's sickening, and I don't want to contribute to his fortune on this. And I definitely don't want to, but it's just not a. It's not going to be. It's not a very. It's not a good situation, and I want. I hope that we all would avoid these situations in the future. But I do, but I do agree that the sheriff's deputy should have been more aware to de-escalate, to be able to walk through the questioning, and before it escalated too far. But again, I think he was well within his rights to actually arrest him.
Yeah, no, I got it. And we could talk about all what if and all that other stuff, but at the end of the day, it happened in Meade County. It's saddening. Great job by the employees of Meade County. They did their very best to try to accommodate this person, but I think you weren't going to win no matter how nice you were. You could have pulled out apple butter, which is good, by the way, Mark. It's gone. It was gone. And Mama told me to tell you thank you. She polished it off the other day. I got home. I couldn't even get a piece of toast with apple butter. But, you could have left with some apple butter and had a great day if you'd have just been a little bit more friendly with our folk in Meade County. And I'm going to tell you right now, folks, this is going to happen more and more and more. And you've got an election coming up. And you have got an opportunity to make a difference. And it starts tomorrow. Early voting.
Actually started today.
It actually started today at the craft shop over at the fairgrounds.
Yep, the Home and Garden Building.
Home and Garden Building. And it's going to happen tomorrow. And it's going to happen on Saturday. And I'd highly recommend, if you're a God-fearing American, then get out and vote. I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican. Go vote. Democrats, I care if you go vote as long as you're voting Republican, but I'd like all of you to vote straight ticket because we have the dream team that's coming up, and they're going to get after the things that we hold wholesome. If you believe in what your church is teaching you, if you believe in what your family bonds are about, and if you believe in life begins at conception, and if you believe that we can be better as a state and continue to lower our taxes and free up our economy a little bit for our citizens and
for our future.
And our future, because I'm telling you, I'm a little worried. I've got 3 kids in my house, and I'm afraid that they won't ever be able to afford a house on their own, that you're going to start seeing more multifamily homes.
Yeah.
And that's okay, too. I mean, I'm fine with that.
But that's where we have to go. It kind of goes back to, the original, but
right now we can make an impact.
It's not the American dream. That is not what the American dream was.
But I will tell you right now, you got to get out and vote. Folks, we cannot have a 20% voter turnout. You always want to show up at the presidential election. Stop doing that. Show up.
Don't stop doing that. Just do it again and again and again for every election.
You got to show up now. Let me tell you why. Because the people who spend the federal dollars are the people that are on this ballot for election right now.
That's right.
Not the people you vote for during the presidential election. Some of them, yes. But right now, it's the bulk of the state's pot. And this governor gets to pick 9 seats on the School Board of Education. So if you want to see men in men's sports and girls in girls sports and no confusion about the two, this is the time to vote.
That's right. Right now, a vote for if you want to see law and order, you want to see lower taxes, and you want to have more. You want to have less intrusive government. You got to vote straight Republican ticket. Yeah. You can't just cut the budget without having the other offices working to make their budgets more efficient, and this team is doing that. They're working on that. Their plans are coming together and working together to, along with the legislature. They're going to create a more efficient government. They're going to put the things up online that needs to be online. The in person will be for the rare occasion, and but they'll still be available. But the more you can do, the more the better. If you want to reduce your taxes and you want to keep your taxes under control and your spending or government spending under control, it starts at those individual offices. So we need to go straight Republican ticket to this week.
Right.
If you haven't voted yet, get out and vote tomorrow. Go and vote Saturday. Your final chance to vote is on November 7th on Tuesday. So you got 3 opportunities. The next 2 on tomorrow and Saturday are at the Home and Garden Center, as Steve pointed out.
Yeah.
I believe the voting is 8 to 4.
That's right.
I think it's 8 to 4 p.m. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yep.
And let me make sure that.
And listen, if you watch the show,
8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Home and Garden Building, and then it is at Election Day, of course, is 6 to 6. So
I got something for you. I'm going to come in at you. We're going to close this up, but I'm going to give you a deal. You get your vote in this weekend or early voting. I don't care. Go get your voting sticker, take a picture of it, post it on our page. Show us that you voted if you watch the show. We got some swag we'll give you. We'll reach out to you individually. Yeah. So get out and vote. Got a free prize to a special winner. We'll hand select 2 winners and give you some swag items for the up-and-coming presidential election and from the Mead Truth. How's that sound?
Yeah.
That sound like a good deal? Well, Mark, I think that's it for tonight. I think we got to wrap it up. And
I think it was a great show. I mean, we actually got a little bit of bonus coverage early.
Yeah.
Because we started a little bit early, so we can get some more time with Brett.
Absolutely.
And man, thanks to Brett Guthrie for coming on, our congressman.
Congressman Guthrie.
He is awesome. He represents us well, and he's such a good man. I really like our new speaker, Mike.
I love him.
Mike Johnson out of Louisiana. Man, he's a God-fearing man. He's a humble man. He comes from, and I do too.
Yeah.
And but we should pray for all of them. I even prayed for Nancy Pelosi when she was speaker.
Yeah.
And you need to really, you should always pray. Always pray.
Yep.
But with that, thanks for joining us tonight, and we hope to see you next week. Let us know if you need anything. Let us know in the comments. Like and share out there, guys, because we want to make sure that we get our message out.
Go vote.
Go vote.